Today's podcast was recorded at the 2022 Green Industry Hype House in Tampa, Florida. This year's Hype House is sponsored by the Hardscape Academy and the Lawntrepreneur Academy. Caleb and Brittany Allman invite you to visit the hardscapeacademy.com, where you'll find on-demand video courses and workshops. It's educational training to help you optimize your time, resources, and make more money. LawnTrepreneurAcademy.com, started by Brian and Liz Fullerton, is dedicated to giving lawn care professionals all of the content and resources needed to reach more customers, grow your business, and be more successful. Enjoy today's podcast, and remember to check out both the Hardscape Academy and the LawnTrepreneur Academy.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no-nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here, hanging with you guys. And today, we've got some really special guests joining us all the way here from the 2022 Green Industry Hype House with AJ and Alecia. What's your guys' last name?
Brentzel.
I knew that. I just didn't want to say it wrong. We got Christian from CNI Services literally walking in through the door wall, and almost trips on the power cord. What a embarrassment over it. It's a Paul move. Paul Jamison, I'm 40 minutes into a podcast earlier with another guest, and he not only walks and trips on it on the way out, he trips on it on the way in. I'm like, you were a professional podcaster. What are you doing over here? But anyway, I digress. Really excited to have you guys on the show. We're going to try to ask AJ all the questions because you are pregnant, my girl. And I don't know if you're getting the short breath yet. Are you guys doing the whole deal?
No, I'm good. You're still good. I got plenty of time.
Okay. I'm very cognizant of these things.
You've learned well.
Going through the ringer the last 12, 18 months. Man, I'm like, yes or no. So yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. But really excited about having you guys on the show. You guys were... actually, over at Together in the Trades, just 6, 7, 8 months ago. We were doing 100 things going on, running around. Didn't get a chance to interview you guys then, but we're really excited to have you guys on the show now. Give these guys a quick, we call it the highlight reel on our podcast. Maybe what you guys got going on today, maybe a little 2-minute snapshot of what the business looks like, because you guys have a gym and company and a gym and organization.
You want me to go?
Yeah,
okay.
You can do it.
Okay. All right, 2 minutes. All right. So we are a construction company that specializes in pipeline maintenance. We do site development, a little bit of everything, hauling, painting, maintenance. We're located right outside of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And we're coming up on our 10th year in business. Yeah. And we just had our 10th anniversary married.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
So, a little bit. That's probably the 30-second view. We have about 40 employees.
Okay.
Depends on the time of year. And... that's pretty much it.
Yeah, you guys are living the dream doing construction. AJ, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I would just kind of add her, we primarily focus on the pipeline industry, the oil and gas industry, or energy sector, I should say.
Okay.
But yeah, we really are, we're trying to be as versatile as we possibly can be with our fleet. So we go to pretty much everywhere. When
you guys mean dirt work and oil pipelines and whatnot, what does that mean? How about a lot of my guys? We mow grass. We're lawn maintenance guys. Maybe some construction, hardscaping. But you guys are in a totally kind of different world and niche. Way big outfit.
Yeah. So I'd say the majority of the work that we're doing is on transmission lines. So it's underground pipelines that is.
Like Keystone or something over here? Like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Basically.
I mean, everybody was talking about the big Keystone pipeline that was all through the news.
Yeah.
Those are the type lines we work on. That is
Appalachian Basin.
The Appalachian Basin is what we're working at right now. But basically, our job is to maintain the lines that bring the material to market. You know? So, and across the world, I mean, it's not just the United States. We're working on the lines that are delivering material to the Boston Harbor.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool stuff.
And maintain can be anything from literally mowing all the way to exposing the pipe, doing coating work, restoring repairs. Landslide repairs. If there's landslides, we'll come in and do that. So pretty much we say once the pipe's in the ground, we try to cover the brunt of everything that would need to happen in that maintenance side.
Wow, that's crazy. And the revenues we're talking solid north of the 200 grand mark that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So I think you guys do that a week. If you don't hit that, you ain't even making payroll.
Yeah, I would say we need to hit that.
That's talk about humbling. I got John over here nodding. He's like, yeah, there's always a bigger fish. You know what I'm saying?
Bigger cost though too. And nobody mentions the bigger cost side with it too. Though.
Well, that's what I always say. Like, you guys have this aircraft carrier of a company, and 40, like you said, 30 to 40 to 50 guys at a time. A lot of moving parts. Let's slow it down here for a quick minute. We got to go back. How did you guys get to where you're at today? What was you just literally one day you're excavating pools and AJ's like, I like this, and then somebody's like, hey, we need a $50 million, $200 million pipeline put in. Like, how do you go from A to B, man? That's insane.
Luckily, we can say it's been all organic growth. So it literally started him and me, just together. Him on the road, traveling by himself, actually working for a family member.
Okay.
Contracted out to a pipeline company.
Okay. What ages did you guys get started, or were you always doing this like as a kid? 15 years old, digging around.
I mean, my family's been doing this for 3 generations.
Oh, okay.
So, this being construction.
Yeah, construction.
Gotcha.
So I mean, I've been in this my whole life.
Yeah.
Not pipeline specifically, but when I came out of college, at 22 years old, I went to work directly on the pipeline.
Okay. It's in your blood.
Yeah. I mean, I went there and I would work 3 weeks on and 3 to 4 days off, 3 weeks on, 3 to 4 days off.
Yeah.
And I did that for, I don't know, 2 years, Alecia?
Mm-hmm. Just under 2 years.
Where'd you guys go to school? Business degrees or whatnot?
University of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Johnstown.
Okay.
Are you going to say your degree?
My degree?
It's like sports management or something.
No, maybe even better.
It's my degree is in sociology.
Sociology.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really doing me a lot of good.
That was a 6-figure investment into.
Yeah, he went to college to wrestle. So.
I wrestled.
Sure.
So I was an athlete. So
nice.
Luckily, I did not pay too much for that.
I thought you were going to say like my degree was in like beer and women or something like that. Like, isn't that the joke or something? And
more like Call of Duty and wrestling.
I was really good at the zombies on Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a savage on that.
I mean,
it was the joke in college. I mean, we met in my second to last year of college. He transferred in and we started dating shortly after that, engaged 8 months later. But the joke was, so I have an engineering degree and I would leave for the library, spend about 5 hours there studying.
Yeah.
He would be playing Call of Duty when I left. I'd come back, he'd still be playing Call of Duty.
Oh my gosh.
And so that was the joke in college is
what was the love story? I know it's you don't always get to tell it, especially like you've been married for 10 years. People are like, oh, that's cool, like you're old hat now, right? Like
she found me.
Yeah, what's the story over here? Was it the 5 day or the 5 o'clock shadow and the Call of Duty, the Mountain Dew cans laying around, or what?
Dude, do you want to know the truth? I showed up there and she loved me.
Yeah,
and she found me.
Yeah,
and she picked me.
You had your Mountain Dew. I can see it now. Your bag of Doritos, the shirt off, laying in the beanbag chair.
Yeah, literally, he transferred in, and it was August. I was friends with a lot of the wrestlers there. I played soccer in college.
Okay,
so you kind of hang out with athletes, and he was there for a week, and then we started talking, and I think within like 2 weeks he moved in with me.
Whoa!
He wanted
fast mover.
He wanted out of his roommate with his roommate.
Okay,
so he didn't like his roommate.
They probably weren't good Call of Duty players.
No,
dragging the team down.
No,
that was
what
terrible.
happened.
It was terrible.
So you guys were you still in college? You said 20s, 21?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. And then 8 months later, married?
Engaged 8 months later after we met. And then I think about a year and a half after we had another year of college to go.
Yep.
So we lived together with actually another couple for our last year of college. And then in January of 2012, we got married.
Yeah.
And then in October and November, he said, hey, I want to start my own business.
Wow.
And so at the time, I had a great job working for a corporation doing medical device manufacturing.
Sure.
And so we said, with that backing, why not?
And what was your background in college, by the way?
Mechanical engineering.
Mechanical engineering.
So I actually wanted to go into, artificial limbs and biomedical.
Yeah.
The biomedical side of it.
Wow.
And so that was my original goal. And so I got a job right out of college working on sleep apnea masks.
Really? Wow, small world. And now you guys are laying, massive pipelines. Like, isn't it always weird, like how you kind of get to where you're at and you're like, looking back on it, none of it made any sense.
It is. Fortunately, though, they sent me back for my MBA. So I spent 6 years working for them. meanwhile, still running Brex from the financial side of it.
Yeah.
But I was able to get that MBA that I do think, you always say your degrees never help. It really did help. And I think help us a lot to this day, especially on the marketing side of it.
Absolutely. So first off, okay, I'm just going to do a little intermission here because when we were together in the trades, we did a speakers kind of like a dinner the Friday night before. And that's where I really got to know you guys a little bit more. Definitely AJ, because he sat across from me. And Caleb's like, you got to meet this guy. He's an awesome dude. He's a hoss. I'm like, all right, what do I know? So we sit across from each other, and him and I, we just start talking. And it's just small talk, and we're just being friendly, right? And then you make friendships, build relationships over food, right? You break bread. And so anyway, I got to share this quick story. AJ probably knows where I'm going. We were at this really nice steakhouse down in Waco, Texas. I forget the name of it, but they had this bacon. AJ, can we just talk about the bacon for a quick minute?
Oh my god!
Because it's going to be an injustice. If you guys are listening to this, you're probably going to be hungry and mad at me.
There. It was
how do you describe it? It was like an inch by inch slab of bacon
that was pure bacon.
You could cut it with a butter knife, and then it would dissolve in your mouth like cotton candy.
It was an actual appetizer, so you should say that. You didn't just order bacon off the menu. It was literally their star appetizer. So it was that good.
And the table had 3 or 4 of them, and then the audacity was that nobody at the table wanted it.
Yeah.
I think one went away, and then everybody else was like, "Hey, we don't want that," and we're like. Me and AJ are like, are you kidding me?
Bring it on over.
We literally had 3 slab pieces of bacon and whatever, and we're just mowing down for a half hour. And I'm like, AJ, man, we're going to be best friends. And we're just...
We're our people.
It was kindred spirits. Yeah. And I was like, Liz goes, well, what do you think about AJ and Alecia? I go, didn't get to meet Alecia much. We got a nice big old diesel truck over here. It's Florida.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. John's over here all perked up,
Yeah, he stood up. He stood up to see.
He really did. But I was like, I didn't get to meet Alecia very much because it was just a lot going on. But I'm like, I like that AJ guy. I'm like, we could be best friends. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, back to Together in the Trades. You guys came in at the marriage conference there, and you guys were sharing your story. And something that was really impressive was, of course, the theme there was marriage and how to keep it together and grow and survive entrepreneurship. We kind of joked, but you guys had some fast growth with your company. I mean, you guys went from a couple $100,000 to a couple million to several millions in a very short window. And that can you talk about that growth curve and what that was like, and maybe on the family, the relationship, the marriage? I mean, it had to have just a little bit kind of controlled chaos, almost to a degree.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'll touch base on this first. I mean, Alecia definitely knows the numbers more than I do. She is the numbers lady, and I am definitely not that.
Yeah.
But I would say, as far as the stress, I mean, it took a toll.
Yeah.
I mean, it really did. It took a toll on us.
A lot of conversations.
Yeah. I mean, it was, and it took a toll on me. It really, my health really started getting impacted from it big time. I was working ridiculous hours.
Sure.
I mean, it was. Yeah, we just had our children, the twins and stuff, and I wasn't putting the emphasis on that I probably should have been.
Yeah.
And I was putting a lot of emphasis on, growing Brex, and that was my focus. And, we had a ton of growth for Brex, and, do I regret it? No.
Right. But
at the same time, there's a different profit. There's all kinds of profits in life.
Yep.
And some of them are dollars, but, family's your first.
But there's compromises too to get there.
Yeah.
Like you were saying.
Yeah, I think the big thing was, for so long we were so strapped in growth by, I would say, the amount of jobs that AJ could be on. That's where we were. That's as far as we could grow, is every job he could be on every single day, which, is you're one person.
Yep.
So it wasn't until we found a core group of people, a superintendent, just a good core group that could handle those responsibilities, that literally our growth doubled.
It exploded, yeah.
What were you guys doing in revenue? Just AJ, $1 million, $2 million?
Yeah, we got up to about $1 million. I quit my job. We still hit $1 million. It was a little bit of a rough year. We lost some contracts that year just because of, I feel like that $1 million point. It's like you have to become a real company. It's not just you have to company policies, employee policies, job practices, just your daily job safety stuff that you have to take seriously when you're that size of a company. And it could be different in landscaping, what that dollar amount is.
Yeah.
The earlier the better, obviously.
Build the infrastructure to support this thing.
Yeah, build your foundation.
Yeah, and so when I joined the company in 2017, we were right at that $1 million mark, and we stayed at that $1 million mark because we started losing contracts because we didn't have those processes in place.
Okay.
And so then I stepped in at a good point. It was a hard point because we wanted to continue the growth. But then I brought my corporate experience in. We kind of structured stuff to make it like I'm doing quotes, official company.
Yeah.
And then that's when we went to 4 to 9 very quickly. And like he said, it was tough. I will say that. I will agree with you. It was tough. But the work was being thrown at us. So it wasn't that tough.
Okay.
It's tough. But now you look at 2021 and what happens when those jobs aren't thrown at you and you've made this beast of an animal that you have to sustain.
Devouring work.
That's the harder part that nobody talks about. Nobody talks about controlled growth and what to do and how you structure your company to plan for if it goes away.
So I want to talk about this a little bit more because I say all the time, people are like, well, last year they did, a lot of guys are mowing grass here and we're doing 100, 200, 400, 500,000, maybe $1 million company. But a lot of guys are, 100 to 250,000, 400 grand. And people are like, my goal for next year, if they're doing 250, is like, I'm going to go to 800,000. And I'm like, how about just get back to the first 250? Yeah. And people are like, and that's not popular. That's not a popular saying. Nope. It's not a popular statement. John, we did a podcast with John with Signature Landscape Corp earlier, and he was like, you know what? I'm trying to balance my life. I'm not trying to just grow. There's intentionality behind it. So I want to go back to you guys. You get to, let's say, 10 million in revenue, which I'm pretty sure you guys hit, and your numbers are your numbers, and it's up to you guys to share whatever you want, obviously. But to get back there or to continue to grow, like that takes a lot of work. It's not guaranteed.
No, and it's not. And the thing, I'm an engineer, risk analysis.
Sure.
I like to have backup plans. I don't care who you are. It was impossible to predict a pandemic.
Right.
And so we had our largest growth, our best year, easy growth, I would say,
it was
in 2019.
Okay.
Going into 2020, we had tons of work slated.
Yeah, we had
business
a lot
was
of opportunity.
rolling.
Our clients were saying, "Hey, this is going to be a great year." All things were pointing towards
15 million.
15.
Easy.
Wow. 15 million
Easy.
bucks.
Wow.
Easy. Yeah.
And then COVID hits.
Sure.
And so we start feeling those effects, not hugely because we're still riding on 2019 budgets of of our customers.
So these things are already approved.
These projects are slated. Their spend is already calculated.
Okay.
And so, we didn't have a growth year. I think it was, we went down to 7 million that year.
Okay.
That was 2020. But we still were comfortable. Overhead was covered.
Cool.
Good, great,
Yeah.
And so.
And honestly, we didn't work for that. The big thing with that 7 million too, you have to kind of realize is we didn't work for like 3 months.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually we did shut down for COVID. So honestly,
we ended 2020 like, hey, we're good.
If
it's good.
If you were to look at
all
it that
things
way,
being said,
strategically, it was a $10 million year.
Sure.
It really was.
Sure.
And so then COVID really hit us because we have large commercial customers. 2021.
Okay.
Because their budgets in 2020 weren't established.
Okay.
And so we cut down significantly. But your overhead doesn't cut down.
Right.
Your loan payments don't cut down.
Sure.
You have salaried full-time employees that are diehard,
Reliant.
but you don't want to you're not going to lay them off.
No.
And so we went into this, this thing we couldn't plan for, and it hit us very hard. And so when we were talking about like the stress on our relationship, the middle of this year, I had never seen him that stressed.
Wow.
And once you build that beast, the growth was easy, and there's going to be growth in people's businesses that come so easy.
Sure.
And you're like, sure,
Yep.
you want me to add 20 more people to do this job? Okay, sure, great. Let's do it, because you see those dollar signs.
Yeah.
You see the potential, but then to sustain that growth, it's hard, and it's that much more dollars that you need to guarantee for the years to come.
I think with us, what we weren't doing as we were doing the growth, we weren't analyzing the risk of the growth over a long period.
That's a great thing to say. That I like that a lot. Like, you're like, man, I got this awesome. So I get guys asking me like, hey, I got this hospital or something, right? It's an $80,000 account, and they're like, I'm gonna go buy 2 mowers, a new truck, get 3 new guys, and rock and roll on that crew. I'm gonna make 30 on this 80,000. I'm like, awesome, dude. What are you doing the year after?
Yeah.
Is that a 5-year account? Is that a 1-year contract? A 3-year contract? So talk about that if you guys can, if you don't mind. Like, how does it work in your guys' industry? Are you guys doing government stuff, commercial? Like, I don't know, like Shell. I don't know the corporations you guys work for, but how does that work? And how did you guys, round that corner last year then? Because that was a tough year.
So I think, what we're doing now is I'm not putting so much of a focus on the gross. Do we have to hit the gross? Yes.
Sure.
But we're putting more of a focus on, our team again, our culture again, is one thing. And then the other thing we're doing is we're diversifying ourselves. We're going into so many other markets.
Okay.
I mean,
I will say the important thing, though, the diversification is not in the exact type of service, but it's the industry. So we can play in the pipeline industry. Mm-hmm. We can take those same machines, those same people, the same equipment, and move it into the public construction side as well.
Okay.
And so I would say if you're going to diversify with your client base.
With your fleet.
Okay.
Then add a whole bunch of new services all at once, because that comes with, it takes money to make money.
Sure.
And so that for us was the key is we have this set of equipment, we have these set of people and this set of skills. How can we translate that into multiple industries? Pipeline, solar energy, wind energy. How do we translate into the public sector? How do we go into be a subcontractor? This year was the first time, 2021 was the first time we were ever a subcontractor on the dirt side.
I've been doing a bunch of podcasts talking about subcontracting work because it's something I've been getting into, Mickey Mouse level compared to what you guys are doing. I'm like, hey, I'm making $75 or $150 an hour, plowing snow or something, right? But to me, that's great money, and we're having a blast doing it.
And it's what you need to do.
It's what we need to do. We're trying to maximize our equipment, and we had some bandwidth with some different parts of our setup and our rig, and more stuff we're trying to grow into. And until we have the clients to sustain it on our own, we can subcontract to keep it moving. So we're doing the same thing. We're trying to do the same thing as a lot of you guys are, and nobody's really like above it. And if it keeps the bills paid and keeps your guys working, let me. I want to slow down for a quick second, talking about the relationship stuff. And you can share as much or not, whatever. But what did you guys found worked for you the best when you were going through this crazy growth cycle? You said it was stressful. It's hard. Like, what was some things that you guys had to slow down to work on, or what's some things that you found worked for you to bring it back together? Like, was it a 3-day retreat, some marriage conference thing, or was it a defining roles better? Was it just like an understanding that we're committed to the chaos and you need to deal with this, or you need to own up or man up? Like, just honest conversation.
I'd say all of that.
Okay.
I mean, the big thing that helped us is we not as often since COVID hit, but we would try to take a couple trips a year, just us.
Just to get away.
Just us, just to get away.
Okay.
And whether we talked about the business, great, but also just have couple time.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's hard to sometimes separate that lens of, okay, you're my husband, you're my best friend, but you're also kind of my coworker, but you're kind of my boss.
Right.
You're kind of my peer.
Yep.
And so to separate those levels of roles you play in each other's life and give the attention to each one when you're starting to notice the attention is due.
Yeah.
And I think that's been key for us.
Better pulse on each other, sort of.
And we can't be stressed at the same time.
Yeah.
It's impossible, but that's what we try.
I think you shared that at your speech.
And we do, and honestly, she is really good at it. And this year really brought it out of us. Like, it really did. That was the one thing. We were each other's rocks. In the middle of the year, I mean, she was talking about 6 months into the year. Usually 6 months into the year, I'm pretty much well set for till November, December, working into the beginning of next year. And honestly, we had
nothing this year. Yeah,
we had nothing.
What are you talking about, work or gas in tanks?
Work-wise.
That's usually his stress, is making sure
the pipeline's filled.
That the work in the pipeline is
no
there.
pun intended, honestly.
Yeah, yes. I mean, it's literally, that was, but I got to 6 months and it just wasn't happening.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm doing everything I can. It's just not adding up. Like, I don't know where we go. And, and she obviously, bills are coming.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But she knew at that point, like, she couldn't put that on me.
Sure.
Like that. We can't do that.
That's really cool. That's really, really cool.
And, yeah, I mean, we work together like that.
Yeah, and our stress level is usually staggered like that because he's, I deal with the financial side, the cash side. So him getting jobs has nothing to do when cash hits in the bank.
Okay, yeah.
And so depending on payment terms or when he could get a contract that doesn't start for 4 months. That doesn't help me right today in my cash.
Sure, right.
And so, like,
you're both solving your own problems, sort of.
Yeah, so I can usually see the writing on the wall when I'm going to be stressed and know when he's stressed. And he can't bring his stress to me when I'm stressed, and I can't take mine to him. So that's kind of been something that's been critical for us because
know where each other at.
We need to talk each other off the ledges sometimes. And if we're both on the ledge, who knows what would happen?
Yeah. And it's funny because this sounds really bad, but I don't know if this is marriage advice. Come to our marriage conference. But Liz comes over to me when I'm having a pity party or a bad day, and she'll like take her hand and kind of like she's plugging into my belly button. And she's like, hold on, let me get the pump up machine. So she's doing the air tire thing, and pumping up the tire. And she's like, oh, you having a down moment? I'm like, I feel like junk. I feel like trash. I'm like this, or what a client made me upset or whatever. And she's like, pump me up. And then there's time, and it's so remedial because but
you need it.
But I need it. I'm like, hey, I just need a hug. I just need you to tell me it's gonna be okay. This happened or something. And she's just like, who cares? She goes, you're not gonna think about it 3 days from now. I'm like, I know, but I get fixated. I don't know if it's a dude thing, but I'm like, I want to solve this problem or justify something or rip this person's head off.
I'm the same exact way.
Are you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I've learned that I need to have a separate person to go to with, when I'm financially stressed in the business. Because if I go to him, it's not going to help us.
Yeah.
Because he's going to get stressed. But you kind of got to balance that, knowing your spouse, knowing your partner, whoever you're working with. Yeah. And that goes for your employee, like a regular employee too, is you have to know when to ask for help too.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as business owners, we often, internalize a lot of that.
Yep.
And the more you keep that stuff in, I remember like early in the business and we'd be like, I'd be stressed, like, are we going to make payroll?
Yeah.
And the money would be there. It's just people aren't paying us or whatever. Yeah. I had to track it down or a PO wasn't released. He would have no idea.
Right.
But yet he has the direct communication with everybody.
Okay.
So he wouldn't know there would be an issue. I'd be stressed, scared to talk to him. And then it created a bigger issue.
Sure.
Where at times he was like, why didn't you just tell me? I could have sent the purchasing manager an email right away and it would have got paid.
Right.
And so you have to learn the situations of, okay, read your partner. Mm. What are they feeling?
Sure.
Do I need to help them or do they need to help me?
Right.
And how do we work together? And honestly, I think this was the toughest year in business.
You hear me all the time touting the benefits of the L'Entrepreneur Academy. Hi, I'm Mr. Producer, and it seems like the word is really getting out about Brian's training and resources site. For example, Alexa, I need to learn how to make more money in lawn care. What do I do?
Hi, Marty. The answer is l'entrepreneuracademy.com.
Hey, Google. My favorite gal says I need to learn the business side of the lawn care business. How can I best do that?
The answer is l'entrepreneuracademy.com.
Hey, Siri, you're always spying on me. You heard my questions. What would you do?
If I wanted to cut grass and make cash, I would visit l'entrepreneuracademy.com.
Well, it's unanimous. Even artificial intelligence knows that l'entrepreneuracademy.com is the answer to the question.
Marty, I thought I was your favorite gal. What the hell else going on?
You listen to podcasts, you listen to everything you can hear about being an entrepreneur, and you hear times are tough. But the thing that, people don't really talk about a lot is how to lean on each other.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that that conference was great, because without that support, you could be a lost soul out there.
Well, and I totally agree. Liz and I, we've had this weird, cute saying, but we have to press in to each other. I'm like, look, I can't run to have other people solve my problems. I can't run to she can't run to her mom or other people that are anchors in her life to solve her. We got to press in. Now you need those other, you need those other, coaches or, what are they called? Mentors or, other sage advice, right? You got to get other people's opinion. That's fine. But I always tell Liz, I'm like, we got to press in. And then sometimes when it is crazy, I have to like you said, slow her down. I'm like, hey, we committed to this.
Yeah.
It is chaotic. It is something. It is this. It is that. It's going to be tight. It's going to be financially whatever this. I'm like, it's going to work out. Let's stick to the plan, And there's times where, I love what you said. You got to walk each other off the ledge. We both heard somebody say once, we both just can't quit on the same day. Mm-hmm. Right? There's times when I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do any of this anymore. I'm like, I can go get a job, make 60, 70, 80 grand. I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? It's just literally pain and suffering.
Go home at the end of the day and just, not worry about work anymore because you left work. You're clocked out.
What's that, right? It's like it's like the Instagram reel. It's like, I wanted to get a 9 to 5, but then I decided to start my own business. Now I work 24/7, And welcome to the jungle. But we say that all the time, press into each other, help each other out, lean on. It's okay to ask for help. It's also you got to have that understanding. Let's just not quit on the same day, right? And marriage-wise, let's not make any crazy large decisions when we're both feeling like crap. And maybe you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, I always say, like, when you're having a good time, double down and ride that wave. And when you're both down in the gutter, don't make any rash decisions on purchases, decisions in your relationship, whatever.
And I think the key to that too is and I believe you guys do this very well, actively have conversations on where you want to be, because it's hard in those downtimes to remember
the vision
that you still want to get to there.
Yes.
And times could be tough and you just want to abandon and throw the towel in.
Yep.
And you got to be that rock for your partner to be like, hey, I know your goals. This is what you want to do, and this is why.
Right.
And this is just kind of a bump in the road to get to those goals.
We'll smooth it out. We'll make it through.
So knowing individual goals, like what his are individually, but ours together as our family, as our business, that's kind of like a nice slate to like lean on and be like, okay, yeah, you're totally founded. We should just abandon ship because this is something that we've never even talked about.
Sure.
Or it's, no, we're on the right path. We know stuff's going to come up. You know how hard business ownership is. There's highs are high, lows are low.
That is true.
And you just got to ride it out. And so knowing where your partner and you want to go together or individually, I think that creates the backbone.
Sure. I have a guy that comes to our conference. He's a motivational speaker. His name is Jeff Joyner. Awesome guy. And he has a coin phrase that he says a lot, and I've been listening to him for 10 plus years. He said, entrepreneurship, it's like a roller coaster. There's ups, there's downs, there's even some loop-de-loops. He goes, but you know what? The only people that get hurt on a roller coaster are the people who jump off. And it was what?
Ooh, that's powerful. I like it.
It was stuck with me when I heard him say it at a seminar I went to, 10 years ago. And I told Liz, I'm like, this is a loop-de-loop. I'm like, this one sucks.
Hold on.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're getting the stomach feeling because you're upside down. And you know what? But you know what? You just stay on that track. You just stay on that rail, and that cart's going to get to the finish line, right? Yeah. You guys are in demand here at the house. I don't want to be selfish with your guys' time. I know a couple other people want to get you on the podcast. You guys are headed out here soon. Maybe just kind of bring us to where you guys are at today. What are you guys excited about? Tomorrow. Where's Brex going the next couple of years? You guys are really, really, Liz and I, we were up in the room a couple hours ago, and she's like, having a good time. I'm like, yeah. She goes, what do you think about Alecia and AJ? I'm like, they're freaking awesome. They're cooler even than from when we got to meet you guys together in the trades, because we only had limited time together. And we're just impressed. We're thoroughly getting to know you guys. You guys have a great outfit. We highly respect you guys. So where are you guys going? And maybe any of the last things you got to leave these guys while we got you?
First, I want to say we echo that back. We are so humbled to be invited because, we look at where we are in construction, and it's not exactly where everybody in this house is.
Sure.
And so we kind of, we could be considered outsiders, but you guys make us feel like part of your industry, part of your group with like-minded people. So for you guys to say those things, you say those things to us, and we echo them right back. So
that's why you guys are here. You guys are here to elevate us. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good people surround themselves with good people.
Yeah.
And when one person elevates, the other person elevates.
Yeah, what Liz put on our agenda, a rising tide raises all ships.
Yeah. Like that is, I mean, you guys are the definition of that. It's really cool.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
But for Brex, we're finally so excited. So we didn't talk about this, but pairing the fact if we had a really tough business year, we were building a house.
Okay.
Like.
Yeah.
We were building.
I didn't know that. Did you guys tell us that? No, I don't remember that.
We committed a lot to do ourselves.
Okay.
Prior to having a bad year, so we were in the middle of a good year.
Yeah, and you're pregnant. 4 or 5 months along, right?
Yes. And so, this...
Why don't you just do it all, right?
We had to step away from the business anyway. We already committed to stepping away to build this house. It's like a small, okay, we'll have a good year. We'll still get our house done and meet our goals personally.
Sure.
And then the business tanked. Well, not tanked. Tanked is exaggeration.
Yeah.
The stress level rose.
Yeah.
And so, but we still had to step away because we had this commitment to finishing this house.
That's a lot to juggle.
That being said, 2022 looks great. We have an awesome backlog. We lost a lot of our culture that we prided ourselves on from stepping away and having the bad year.
Okay.
So we have objectives. We've met with our team. We have really awesome things in store for our employees, and that's what we want to get back to.
Cool.
So I think when we look at anything, it's not the work supports all that, and having the work is critical.
Right.
But being able to do the things we wanted to do with our employees, the culture, the employee recognition, the training, the mentoring.
Yeah.
Those are the things we're most excited about.
I know
going into 2022.
Those are a lot of your goals too, AJ. I know that's what you pride yourself on the company too.
I mean, honestly, that is the biggest thing when I look at my company. I want people to say, I love working here.
Yeah.
Like, I love these people. I don't want them to call me boss.
Yeah.
I want them to call me AJ because I'm their peer.
I got a lot of that at dinner when you were talking about that. Like, you don't want this to be a job. You want this to be family. You want these to be like your dirt monkeys with you. You know, like you guys are kicking butt as a family.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I think my biggest thing is this, and I was just talking to Blake about this. I said, you know, my focus this year is to focus on the culture and improving that in our company.
Okay.
With that, the company will improve. And then focus on our communication, you know, and bidding processes and systems and stuff. That's you know, the every year thing. You know, You're always trying to improve that.
Yeah. I
mean, that's a given. But to focus on profit and not so much gross, but profit on all levels. I mean, I want to focus on profit from what we take home as far as a fiscal number. I want to focus on profit, you know, as far as my family, my faith, you know, my fitness. That has a value to it, you know. I mean, we can, and then, you know, I don't want to set a number and say, okay, next year I want to do 20 million. You know, if we do 20 million, then great. But I want to make sure that those other profit centers still have, you know, what they need to be.
Yeah.
And then, you know, take the lessons we've learned, you know, to this point. We were just talking about earlier. You know, we grew so fast and we didn't analyze the risk in the long term. You know, so, you know, we could potentially have the opportunity to turn into a $30, $50 million company. But I also want to, you know, analyze the risk when we're putting numbers on these jobs and saying, okay, we're gonna assess this in a way that if it happens, then we put a risk number in that's going to cover us.
Sure.
You know, and I mean, at that point there, it's more of an even more natural growth than we had.
Yeah.
You know,
it's intentional growth. We grew unintentionally.
Sure. Well, you guys, I remember you guys' story. It was just yes. You said yes to everything.
Yes, he was the yes.
Yeah, there
man.
wasn't a plan to it. I mean, I was just, they would call me. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Sure. And we'd go to our HR manager. Hey, hire 20 more people.
And sometimes that's not bad.
It was fine.
I'm going to say that.
In the middle of it, it was fine, and it was great. It's just then you have a pandemic and to backtrack. So
yeah, I mean, I don't
know how you give business advice on planning for a pandemic, but I think it's important these days.
I always joke, and so like in a roundabout fashion, like, you know, you still get an employee handbook. When there's an act of terrorism, it's in there almost because
you can get insurance for it,
and all my insurance people keep trying to slap it on there for $10, and I'm like, listen, nobody's hopefully dropping a nuke in Michigan, okay? Hopefully, but there probably is a site with auto and all that mess. But anyway, because of 9/11, right? Everybody's got something in their handbook for the big companies if that happens. And the joke was, you know, with the pandemic, it's like you look at your employee handbook, page 54, you know, worldwide pandemic. Yeah, that wasn't in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now everybody's like, all right, if you know, now that we got the stupid shields and the mask and all this policy, right? Yeah. So it's like it almost took everybody upside the head with a 2x4 because you're like, whoa, okay, is this like the bubonic plague? Okay, is this like the, you know, something from the Spanish flu? We don't know. We don't know. And so everybody was so rightfully so, in February, March, April of 2020, and we're all like, what are we gonna do? My state shut us down. We couldn't work for 8 weeks. We lost 20 grand on the top. We didn't like lose 20 grand. We just didn't make the 20 grand.
That gross, yeah.
Yeah, and I was super frustrated. And my gosh, if you know, I think that's where we're going to shut down the podcast. But any which way, talking about how you guys have these numbers that if you don't hit what my business does in a year per week, you guys are just, you know, I can only imagine the cowbell, you know, the fire alarms going off. And so, like you said, it's business is a moving target. You know, it's never like this finite thing. It's always adjusting. It's always growing. It's always changing. It's just like this blob that like never ends. And so I like what you guys said earlier about having these non-negotiables and also these ways that you guys can lean on each other to make sure like, hey, we're the same people here, right? Like everything else is crazy. It's not just us, you know, one of those deals. But I'm excited for you guys. Whatever you guys decide to do, I know you're going to do it together and you guys are going to win at it. And we're always rooting for you. Liz and I love you guys. You guys are awesome people. And I'm sure we'll get to hear a little bit more from you before you know it. So anything else you guys want to lead these guys really quick? But if not, we'll sign on off.
No, I want to say thank you and back all that up to you. And we're just really appreciative. And we're probably going to be curious about, you know, the podcasting and social media side now. So get ready to give me some notes.
I need to get over the PA. I'm going to come hang out with you for a day. And that'll be interesting.
One thing, I mean, honestly, for your listeners, and this is like I guess it's like a pet project of mine. Business owners, if you guys need help or you have questions, reach out to us.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
where can they find you?
Brex Enterprises on Instagram. We have a TikTok also. But yeah, just message us. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure
I get them. So
she'll give you my cell phone number, and I'm an open book.
Well, I mean, careful when you say that, because I mean, our followings are kind of decent size. Yeah. You might get like
that just tells you how our following is right now.
No. I always tell people like I don't give out my number. I always tell people, please don't call. Like, if you need something, literally email.
Just message. Yeah.
Shoot a DM or an email.
Message or an email.
Slide in. Just slide in.
I'm not much of the social media.
Because you'll have 80 people reach out to you and say, hey man, you got 5 minutes, and 5 minutes times 80 times carry the 2.
Yeah, but I mean, we're more than willing to help, man.
That's awesome.
I want to build the future generation.
Other people up. Yeah.
I'm not trying to, I'm not worried about the guy shooting me down.
Yeah.
It is what,
No, there's plenty of work out there, I always say. And you guys have a big outfit. If you guys want to go tit for tat and spar with these guys, you better be prepared to rumble, because their monthly payments, I think I heard, and it's not my number to share, but I heard you telling Blake on the podcast, what was it, your workers' comp or your insurance for the year?
Oh yeah. You can tell them that for the year.
What?
Was it, we just met with the...
Yeah, I want to hear you say it, if you remember it right.
$347,000.
Give or take, yeah.
What is this for again?
Insurance.
Workers' comp and insurance.
No, this is workers' comp, general liability.
General liability, workers' comp. Yeah. Dang. I just got my quote back to up some of my insurance coverage, and they doubled it, and I was like, dude, you got to be kidding me. Like, I was going to blow a gasket, and it is not. I don't even know if it's 1% of what you guys are paying. So my hat is off to you guys. Those are big boy problems, I always say. But hey, a quick side note, and I don't know if it's a salty topic still, but that big excavator you bought.
Very salty.
Yeah. You still got that thing? Or?
Yes.
We got a big audience. You never know. Maybe someone wants to pick it up.
Yeah, if anybody needs, a 750 excavator.
75-ton excavator.
We'll rent it to you.
This thing costs what I make in a year.
No profit on it. We'll just give it to you what it costs per month.
Yeah.
Or, anybody out there, if you have a big commercial project, let us know.
Like, if you need to dig the foundation of a home in one scoop, this thing will do it.
You need a quarry, Doug? Give me a shot.
If you guys only know, like, these are big boy problems. You guys have a smoking business, big outfit. Like,
we like to say there's no mistakes in business.
Yeah.
We'll say that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those things. But
what's that thing in Transformers back in the day? The guy who combines all the different things and he makes the big guy. Devastator or something like that. I don't know. But you guys know the construction. That's what this machine looks like. It looks like the leg of this big transformer.
Yeah. To me, it just looks like dollar signs.
I can only imagine.
A bunch of dollar signs.
Here's how you know you got big equipment, guys. When you have other machines putting together your machine, that's a big machine. You know what I'm saying?
To haul it, yeah.
To
haul
take
it apart, to move it.
It's like three trucks.
You were telling me it's like a certain amount of money just to assemble it. And I'm like...
It's very expensive.
I'm like, that's ridiculous. I'm like, hey, by the way, get some of this bacon. You know what I'm saying? So AJ's like, I'm gonna eat this bacon, man. Why not?
I'm a big lessons learned person, so reach out to us.
Yeah.
If you ever want to talk about equipment, or hopefully some listeners listen in tonight and get some good advice on our live.
We'll do a follow episode. We'll have you guys title the episode "When to Buy and When to Rent." That'll be least first buy talk.
We're like the kings of that.
No, and you guys are awesome. So we'll button up right here. Give them a follow on Brex Enterprises on Instagram and TikTok. BREX Enterprises. Looks like a red 10X logo from Grant Cardone and those guys. I'm sure you got that before, but you guys are awesome. We super appreciate you. We're going to sign off here really quick. Thank you to the Hardscape Academy and the Launchpreneur Academy for sponsoring the 2022 Green Industry Hype House over here in beautiful Tampa, Florida. We're sitting on the balcony here. You might hear the cars zipping by. It's about a 60-degree, beautiful evening here on a Tuesday night. And you know what? Guys, because of the support of what you guys do with those 2 websites and the training courses and the resources, we're able to create content like this, literally just reciprocate, help you guys grow, maybe give you some encouragement, some motivation. Hopefully you guys appreciate it. And we also just want to say thank you as well for listening in. So that's what we got. AJ and Alecia, appreciate you guys big time, and look forward to catching up with you here on the next one.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.